What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. You guys know that I am a pro-black, very much so a pro-black. I'm a hardcore Pan-African brother, and I am fighting for black people to work together, black people to be together, and for black men to offer something to black women and vice versa. That's my overall message. And I am a critic of the black community, for sure. I love to criticize. I will not stop. This is what I get up to do. I complain about the black community all the time. But our people are better together. However, we have situations which it doesn't happen. And I want to talk about what's happening right now with Mr. Darren Waller. Darren Waller had a very tumultuous past. He's had many problems in his life, but those problems have been overcome, and he's now one of the better tight ends in the NFL. And despite his issues, he's been doing very well. The guy's been killing it. All right, been killing it. He's not been as productive the last 2 seasons, but I believe a lot of that has to do with injuries and things like that. But now I want to talk about what's going on with him. He's just married Las Vegas Aces point guard Kelsey Plum. Okay, Kelsey Plum. Now Darren Waller, I believe, is also mixed, so that has something to do with it. Okay, but now we've seen this repeating pattern over the black world, and it's not just African American men that are doing this. We see it in Africa. Guys on the French team and the UK team, they're marrying white women, left, right, and center. And the excuse is all the time, this is colorism. They're only marrying white women because they're brainwashed. And it could happen that they're brainwashed. But I want to tell you a story. When I was a little boy coming up in Sacramento, my grandmother, who loved me dearly and still does, told me I am too dark. She said, you need a light-skinned woman to make your kids less black than you. This is true. So imagine telling that to somebody that's like 8 years old. Like, oh, I'm too black. Now, my brother, who was 10 years older than me, and she told my brother this in the early 80s, 1985. My brother used to put makeup on himself. So now you guys would call that skin lightening, but he didn't have this stuff, thank God. He would try to he would use my grandmother's blush to make himself look lighter. And all of his women, ex-wife, current wife now is like lighter than almost like a vanilla protein shake. Serious. If you put she's that light, almost white. Now, some of this stuff for these black men getting interracial marriages has to do with what your parents are telling you. That's number one. But secondarily and primarily, it's not colorism like you think it is. Most black men, and I'm going to tell you this, when you have a white wife or a white girlfriend as a black man, I don't care how nice she is, nothing makes you more cringe when you walk outside with a white woman than how people look at you. I used to have a white girlfriend a long time ago, maybe 19, 20, walking into the restaurant in California is quite liberal. People look at you funny, very funny, okay? Nothing in the world makes you more uncomfortable than that. And most black men understand, if you have a black girlfriend, a white girlfriend, or a white wife, people don't like it. People, they can say whatever they want to say. People look at you funny. Not only do whites look at you funny, blacks look at you funny. And then you get to hear those little side stupid and you can't fight everybody, right? You just can't. You can't go up and punch a guy because he said, like, what is she doing with this black guy? So it's uncomfortable. What else is uncomfortable? Going to your white parents' or father-in-law's house. And in the back of his mind, he has to be thinking, what kind of man am I such that my daughter went and got a man that wasn't like me? He has to think that. He might like you. He might be crazy about you, but you can't tell me he doesn't think that. He has to think that. Because as a black man, I would say, my daughter has a white husband. What's it about me? It could be not the truth, but it must be something about me that I did wrong. She doesn't want a man like me. Why? So I want to tell you that this is very troubling for a lot of brothers. So if the black man is doing that, why is he doing it? And there are other reasons outside of the fact, okay? Listen to what I'm saying, that man is X, Y, and Z. A lot of times, a lot of black men are entering something, I will say this about black women, where black women have a potential to be a wife. The potential. Some are trained. But let's just be honest. Relationships are something you need work at. Many of us have the potential to be business owners, but you have to work at it. Nobody in the world is born to be an entrepreneur. You have people who are interested in business. You have people who are passionate about an industry, but it takes work. Managing talent takes work. Building systems takes work. You need to develop into that. And to be a husband, you need to be developed. It takes a man to be a husband. How you talk to your wife is important. How you treat your wife is important. Building for your family is important. You're not born to do that. You have to be taught. You have to learn. You have to hit the mistakes and grow from there. The same thing is with a young woman being a wife. And what do we see happening in Black America? I'll tell you. In Black America, we have many women coming up without any fathers, almost 85% now, I believe. It was 72%. It's upwards of 80 going towards 90%. So now when these Black young men who have some level of affluence, they go to these white colleges, and these white women, or even if you have Black women that have been married, they come across these white women that have been married before. What happens? What happens? Every time there's an argument or a discussion with a young lady that comes from a single parent home, it's not that it's bad, but she hasn't seen a relationship. Even my mom and dad, they fought and they divorced and all that. But my grandparents were still there, married for like almost a gazillion years. It made me the man I am today about family. Although I don't have my own, I do have that sort of commitment. I saw my grandfather get up every day, do this every day. I never saw him running the streets. I never saw him running with women. I always saw him dependable. He was there all the time. He never complained about being a husband. Never. He was a straight up man. He wasn't the smartest man in the world, but the guy was a rock. He was undergirded in the family, and he kept our family together. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for him. But a lot of women haven't seen that. A lot of men haven't seen that. So they're not compatible. So they break up. And when you're a man looking for a wife, do you have time a lot of times to wait for somebody to get it together? No. I'm gonna tell you why, because women don't have time for some guy to get it together. What if he said, well, what about this man? Well, he has potential. Can he provide for you? No, but he has potential. Women don't want to hear that. When you're dealing with a woman, she don't want to hear about your potential. She wants you to be able to do what you need to do right now. And secondarily, this is gonna hurt for a lot of women out there. A guy doesn't have time to worry about your potential. You can't get it right, that's on you. These guys who are millionaires, they're not gonna sit there and develop you. Who do you think you are? The same thing for women. If a woman is in a position, she don't have time for a man to be developed. You need to be as developed as you can be before you get here. So these guys are going with what the route is. Okay, she might not be perfect, but she has these qualities. I can do it. And sometimes, a lot of times for Black men, these women are not Black. This is the reality. And people get mad because they've seen a better system. You can't be in a system that you haven't been in. How can you improve it? And in Black America, you're sitting here blaming these Black men for dealing with white women, when in reality, they're dealing with women that come from a different system. They know how to be somewhat feminine to these guys, according to them. I'm not saying that women don't have it, but Black women have more of the potential. They're not seeing the family structure every day. So they can't implement it like some of these Asian ladies or even Black women coming from two-parent homes. So this is why Black men are doing this. Stop blaming it on colorism. If you want Black men marrying Black women, then stop creating kids without fathers. Stop creating kids without the mother being there. Stop having kids out of wedlock and then, I got my kid, but I don't care about this dude. Stop doing that. Because you're gonna make mates that are gonna be unreliable for everybody else. And nobody has time for your kids to get it together. They don't. This is the real world. It's ruthless out here. And that's the honest truth. You don't like it, but I don't care. It's the truth. I'm only dealing with that. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.